Picture this. You're driving home. You're tired, you're hungry, and you've stayed in your lane for 20 minutes. Suddenly, a red sports car swerves right in front of you, no blinker, cutting you off so hard you spill your coffee. What is your immediate thought? Be honest. You don't think, oh, that poor fellow must be rushing to the hospital for a medical emergency. No. You think, what a jerk. You think, that guy is reckless. He's selfish. He's a bad person. But let's rewind. Imagine you are the one driving the red car. You're rushing because you're late for a job interview that determines whether you make rent this month. You cut someone off. Do you say to yourself, I am a selfish jerk? No. You say, I had no choice. The lane was ending. I'm under a lot of pressure. I'm usually a good driver. See what happened there? When they do it, it's a flaw in their personality. When you do it, it's a result of your circumstances. This double standard is the single biggest reason you think there is everything wrong with everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're fixing your brain. This phenomenon has a name. Psychologists call it the Fundamental Attribution Error. It is the tendency for people to underemphasize situational explanations for an individual's observed behavior, while overemphasizing dispositional and personality-based explanations. In plain English, we judge others by their actions, but we judge ourselves by our intentions. This was famously demonstrated in a study way back in 1967 by Jones and Harris, and the details of it are actually quite shocking. They asked participants to read essays about Fidel Castro. Some essays were pro-Castro, some were anti-Castro. Now, here is the kicker. The participants were told explicitly that the writers had absolutely no choice in the matter. They were assigned the topic by a coin flip. Logic dictates that if the writer had no choice, the essay tells you nothing about their actual political views. If I put a gun to your head and tell you to write a poem about how much you love pineapple on pizza, that poem doesn't mean you actually like it. It means you don't want to get shot. Yet, the participants in the study ignored this logic. They still believed the pro-Castro writers were actually pro-Castro supporters. They couldn't separate the person from the action, even when they knew the situation was rigged. But this goes deeper than just judging strangers. It actually bleeds into how we view our own success and failure, creating a concept known as the self-serving bias. This is the hypocrite part of the equation. When you succeed, say you ace a test or get a promotion, you attribute it to your internal character. You say, I am smart, or I am a hard worker. But when you fail the test or get fired, you suddenly look at the external factors. You say, the test was unfair, or the boss didn't like me. We take credit for the wins because it protects our ego, and we blame the environment for the losses because it protects our self-esteem. But when we look at other people, we do the opposite. If your coworker gets promoted, it's not because they are smart. It's because they got lucky or kissed up to the boss. If they get fired, it's because they were incompetent. It is a perfect, self-sealing loop of logic that ensures you are always the hero of the story, and everyone else is either a villain or an NPC. So why are we wired this way? Is it just arrogance? Well, evolutionary psychologists suggest this might actually be a survival mechanism gone wrong. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, if you heard a rustling in the bushes, you didn't have time to contemplate the situational variables of wind velocity or small animals. You had to assume agent, you had to assume tiger. Assuming that an action is caused by a deliberate agent allows us to predict future behavior quickly. If you assume the guy who stole your food did it because he is a thief by nature, you know to avoid him forever. It's a shortcut. It's a heuristic. Your brain is an energy-saving machine, and analyzing the complex invisible web of socioeconomic pressures that led a stranger to be rude to you takes a lot of calories. Labeling them a jerk takes zero effort and lets you move on with your day. Interestingly, this isn't a universal human trait, or at least it's not equally strong everywhere. Studies have shown that the fundamental attribution error is much stronger in individualistic cultures, like the United States and Western Europe. In these societies, we obsess over the individual. We love the idea of the self-made man. We believe people control their destinies. So naturally, We blame them entirely when they mess up. However, in collectivist cultures, like many found in East Asia, people are socially conditioned to pay more attention to the context and the group. When shown a picture of a fish swimming ahead of other fish, Americans tend to say, "That fish is leading the pack," a display of individual strength. Japanese participants are more likely to say, "The other fish are chasing it," a focus on the situation and the relationship between the subjects. So, if you are watching this from a Western country, congratulations. Your culture has specifically trained you to be more judgmental than necessary. This error destroys our ability to empathize, and nowhere is this more dangerous than in high-stakes environments like the justice system or the workplace. Think about a job interview. If a candidate comes in sweating and stumbling over their words, the interviewer assumes they are an anxious, unconfident person. They rarely stop to think, maybe their car broke down on the way here, or maybe their parent is sick. We discard people based on snapshots of their worst moments, while demanding to be judged by our best intentions. It's also why the internet has become such a hostile environment. When you read a tweet or a comment you disagree with, you don't see the human being behind it. You don't see their history, their fears, or the algorithm that has been feeding them misinformation for years. You just see the text. The text is the figure, and the internet is the background. So you conclude, this person is an idiot, or this person is evil. You attack their character rather than their argument, because your brain has tricked you into thinking their opinion is the sum total of their soul. Think about your personal relationships. How many fights have started because of this error? Your partner forgets to do the dishes. The error whispers in your ear, they didn't do the dishes because they don't respect you. They are lazy. Reality might be, they were exhausted from a 10-hour shift and simply forgot. By attributing the mistake to their character, calling them lazy, you turn a small, temporary mistake into a permanent character flaw. And you can't fix a character flaw. You can't wash the lazy off someone. So you get angry. You feel hopeless. But if you attributed it to the situation, they are tired, that is a problem you can solve. You can say, "Hey, go rest. I'll get the dishes tonight. You get them tomorrow." See the difference? One path leads to a fight about who is a better person. The other leads to a solution that helps you both. So, how do we stop thinking there is everything wrong with everyone? We have to manually override the system. We have to catch our brains in the act. Next time someone cuts you off, or ignores your text, or says something you find offensive, I want you to play a game called the most generous interpretation. Ask yourself, what is the most charitable, situational reason this person could have for acting this way? Maybe the guy cutting you off really is rushing to the hospital. Maybe the rude cashier is working a double shift to pay for college and her feet are killing her. Maybe the friend who hasn't texted back is overwhelmed with anxiety and staring at their phone, terrified to open the message, not ignoring you out of malice. You don't have to believe it's true. You don't have to be naive. You just have to acknowledge it's possible. Because the moment you acknowledge the situation, you stop hating the person. You stop seeing them as a villain in your movie and start seeing them as the protagonist of their own difficult movie. You'll find that when you stop assuming everyone else is malicious or incompetent, the world becomes a much less annoying place to live. You carry less anger. You become a better problem solver. And who knows? Maybe next time you make a mistake, maybe next time you are the one who cuts someone off in traffic, someone will give you the break you feel you deserve. If you want to understand more about why your brain lies to you and how to fix it, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. What is a time you judged someone unfairly, only to find out you were totally wrong? Or better yet, when did someone judge you unfairly? This has been Everything Wrong with Everyone. See you in the next one.